Hey there, seekers of spiritual, tangible results.
Welcome to the no-nonsense zone, where common sense meets the spiritual. I'm Jason Parks.
I'm Emma Romano, your unapologetically real spiritual guides.
We don't sugarcoat, we don't dance around the woo-woo, we just deliver the raw, kick-ass truth.
Join us each episode as we dive deep into the mystical, cut through the bullshit, and show you how to manifest with tangible results you've been craving for.
No fluff, no filters, just two mentors on a mission to elevate your mind, body and soul.
Get ready to transform your life like never before. This is Soul Aligned Results, where spirituality meets the real world.
Welcome to Soul Aligned Results. I'm Jason Parks, energetic therapy specialist and spiritual mentor. And with me is the internationally renowned trauma and relationship expert, the amazing
Emma Romano. Oh, and in the background, if you're on video watching this, we got Teddy Romano at the back there too. It's a 58-kilo dog.
That's it.
You know, I just realized my dog weighs more than me now.
Yep, there you go. You'll be riding him around like the Lord of the Rings soon. Yeah.
Okay, guys, this is part 2 to No Skills in Pills. We're going to get really deep and juicy into around manifesting all kinds of things in this podcast. So my suggestion is this: listen to this podcast twice. I would listen to it and then replay it with a pen and paper and write down some notes for yourself. Jason, I'm going to let you lead the way, my friend. Go for it.
I'll go for it. Just before I settle into it,
Yes.
we should do all the things. If you
Yes.
like this information, people, please like and subscribe. You know the deal. You've played it all before. So any comments, we love to get comments. We love to get suggestions about what you want to hear about. And yes, and that's about it. Let's not dwell on that side of it too much. Let's get into it.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
So last session, when we talked about this, we were talking about the fundamentals of why personal development matters in the healing process. If we're going to look at wellness as a reality instead of something that we're pursuing, then that we have to take it in a very different way to the mainstream view. And I think by and large, most people are very clear about the fact that the average person in Australia, at least, is not healthy.
No.
You only need to walk down the street and you will see people in various states of disrepair. Right? And the thing about that is it shows you how the mainstream and the current popular paradigm is really not aimed at people thriving. It's just aimed at people being able to get up, consume, go back to bed. So that's all we need from you.
I always say they want us numb and dumb.
Numb and dumb, absolutely. So in this, what we're going to do is we're going to try and do a little bit about the dumb. Right? Numb's kind of up to everybody. Right? But here's a bit about the dumb. So last time we talked about this, we started talking a bit about, we've named these 2 episodes, No Skills in Pills. And it comes from some of the ideas around working with things like ADHD, ADD, and certain other spectrum issues. It is a lot of things around health. You can get very viable, very capable treatments in pharmaceuticals and so on. They're great. They really do a good job. The only issue is they only work on a certain percentage of it. And it doesn't matter what pill you're taking, it only works on a certain percentage of it. And that's because human beings are a lot more complicated than just their biochemistry. So when we are looking at getting into health, last time we touched on a thing called therapeutic order. And I just want to sort of kick off there again. Therapeutic order is a model that was put forward about, probably nearly 20 years ago. I'd love to say I came up with it. I really, really didn't. And it's an amazing principle. And what it does is it's used as a foundation of natural medicine, particularly naturopathy. Although most naturopaths I've talked to about it have no idea what I'm talking about. And I found it in the back of a textbook. It was in a little chapter. I read this thing and just went, oh my God, this is like one of the best things ever. And the reason is you can Google therapeutic order, it's everywhere. But one of the things that's important about it is it actually just creates a scale which starts at the gentlest, lowest impact form of health intervention right through to the most severe. So at the bottom, you have ideas of essentially changing the way you think about things, right through to chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and surgery. So as you go up the scale, the treatments do two things. First of all, they become more concentrated, but because of that concentration, they become more potent. If you've got problems with your kidneys, for example, at the bottom of the scale, we can start to look at things about water consumption, the way in which your body absorbs that. We can work up through very specific modalities that can help with that, things like acupuncture and kinesiology and all of these sorts of things, dietary changes, so on. We can go into medication, but ultimately we can just whip that kidney out and give you a transplant. And what happens is, as you get higher up that scale and the higher the impact of the medical intervention, the broader and deeper the range of side effects. So, one of the things about side effects, and I think if you ever want to really start to develop wellness, you have to get rid of the idea that side effects are a thing. They're not a thing, they're a marketing term. Pharmaceuticals have effects, surgeries have effects. So, same as herbs, they have effects. So, you can take a drug that will dramatically control your brain chemistry. It will numb out, it'll just put a line straight through how depressed you can get and usually how happy you can get. It just
Yeah.
puts you in the mid range and holds you there.
Yeah. It doesn't just choose depression, it chooses everything and we numb out to everything.
Exactly right. So if you have a look at that medication, it'll come with this little booklet with it that will tell you all the possible side effects. And those side effects are things like long-term use will destroy your kidneys, will affect your liver, will do all those things. Now they talk about it like it's an accident. It's not. It's just where a drug is finished in its development process. And so the way you need to think about how pharmaceuticals work is really, or like anything, herbs, diet, exercise, it has multiple effects. So nobody wants to buy medication. If you went and saw a doctor and they said, we want you to take this medication, you go, okay, what does it do? Well, it's going to stabilize your mood and it's going to help with your serotonin levels and it's going to ruin your kidneys and it's going to mess with your liver and it's going to affect quality of life over time. You'd go, no, thanks. Right? So they come up with the idea of side effects. So it's like, oh, well, it's possible it could do this. What do you mean by possible? It's like, well, if you keep taking it. So the thing that's important about this, and it doesn't matter, it's all right to pick on pharmaceuticals, but it's exactly the same with anything. If you go and you have any form of treatment, whether it's a massage, whether it's acupuncture, whether it's herbalism, whatever it is, you are going to get a broad range of effects that happen with you.
Look, it's the same as people when they're sitting there going, I'm going to use alcohol as my drug of choice, or I'm going to use cake, or I'm going to use Netflix. Whatever we're using as our drug of choice, there are effects from it. So if I'm sitting watching Netflix too much, I'm going to get fat, I'm going to get lazy, my body is going to start, my muscle mass will disappear. My fat will increase. If I'm going to be using alcohol as my drug of choice, there are effects of the alcohol. It's not just it's going to numb me out that night or in that moment. There are effects from it.
Yeah,
So I think what you're saying here is side effects need to stop being called side and just need to be called, these are the effects of this drug.
exactly right. And it doesn't matter whether it's a medical treatment or, as you say, whether it's a bag of chips.
Exactly.
Right?
There are effects to everything.
There are effects.
And we get to choose. This is how I put it. Everything has a frequency. So if I'm looking at something, it's interesting. I'm writing a book on the self-love revolution. And there's a question people sit there and ask me all the time. How do you know that you don't love yourself? And one of the quickest ways you look at what you're consuming.
Yeah.
Because somebody who loves themselves doesn't drink toxins.
Yes.
They don't drink alcohol. Alcohol poison to our system. If somebody loves and honors themselves, they don't drink ever, not one sip. not even just for a celebration. You know, people go, oh, but I'm celebrating. Why are you celebrating with poison?
Yeah.
What are you telling yourself? What are you actually telling your body? Like, I'm celebrating you, so I'm going to poison you. Well done. What? Doesn't make sense. People who love themselves don't eat shit. You know, they don't put themselves into situations. It's what you're consuming, it's what you're thinking about, it's where you are, it's your environment. And everything has an effect, and there's a positive or a negative effect. And this is where I feel we really need to go into with the title of No Skills, No Pills. When you're taking a pill, you're literally telling yourself that I don't trust myself to heal this. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the
Huge point.
effect on it. That's the emotional effect on it. By taking this, what am I saying to myself about that?
Yeah.
And then we'll just go more into a spiral of that low negativity. And this is a problem. I've got a family member and he's in his now 70s and he started on antidepressants maybe 15 years ago. And he doesn't do any work on himself, nothing like that. And he goes, oh, I think the antidepressants aren't starting to work. And we're like, no shit, Sherlock. They never were. They were just numbing you out from wanting to jump off a bridge. But
Mm.
instead of just going, I don't want to jump off the bridge anymore, you thought that was, I'm done, I'm healed. You're not healed. It's just stopping you from wanting to die.
Yeah.
Now is get skillful and start working on your pain, working on yourself. But nah, don't want to do that.
I think one of the things that's really important about that is, I think we talked about it last time, but we need to understand the difference in medicine, what medicine is for,
Mm.
because there's an assumption that one size fits all, and
Oh, it
it's
doesn't not.
really not.
It's
Yeah.
just not. It's
So,
not. And look, to be honest, with somebody who was so into the medical, you know, I was diagnosed with MS in 2014. I went on all the medication, and some people it works for them. Go for it, go for it. But it didn't work for me. And it's also, I know this is off the beaten path, but this is how crazy it is. Nobody weighed me. Nobody found out what my metabolism rate was. No one figured out what my blood was. No one figured out how much fat to muscle ratio I had. So why am I taking the same dose that a 110-kilo woman would take?
yeah.
Why is my dosage exactly the same as everybody else? I don't understand that. I'm a 5'2" woman who weighs 55 kilos. Why am I taking the same amount that someone is 100 kilos? That's a man. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And it's the same as in the animals. It's veterinarian as well. You know, when they give a vaccination, like my 58-kilo dog gets the same vaccination that a 5-kilo dog gets.
Mm.
Now, why is a 5-kilo dog getting the same amount? That does not make sense to me.
Mm.
And it was the same as all vaccinations. We're not measured, we're not weighed. This is how much vaccination for your body. You'll metabolize it this quickly. No, we're just given the same vaccination. What's that?
Yeah. And it's a common thing, but I think a big part of it is just like we can drill down into a million examples of where there's issues.
So
Um,
many issues. And I just feel everybody needs to be aware that medicine is really good if it's used in the right way, if it's relevant for where you're at. But what Jason and I are really saying here, you've got to skill up. You can't stay in the same skill set
yeah,
wanting something different. It's like being a carpenter. You can't expect to build a house when you only know how to build a coffee table.
yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Right?
And
So this
yeah,
is where it is. It's like people are sick and they're going to their doctors and they're going to medicine. They go, I need to be better. And they're like, here's his tablet. And they go, great, now I can be vibrant. I can be, no, you don't have the skill set for that yet. You only have the skill set for being sick.
yeah, that's right.
And this is where we need mentoring. We need to be working with the unconscious mind. We need to work with our energy. We need lots of different systems. I think this is where we really need to. Jason, let's tell them, what do they really need?
Okay. First of all, you need to know what type of medicine is appropriate. That's why therapeutic order is a great model because it
Yeah,
tells you what is appropriate.
yeah.
So, first of all, Western medicine, allopathic medicine, I think I mentioned it last time, it's the medicine of less than 20% of the world.
Mm,
It's only Western countries within a certain economic range have access to certain elements of that medicine. And the rest of the world does not.
yeah,
So, yes, in other parts of the world, they can have worse health outcomes, but there's a lot of other conditions around that as well. But one of the main things is that we need to know about it is that even if we're here and we have complete access to it, like I mean, in Australia, we have Medicare system, we have an ability to walk into a hospital, get treated,
mm,
and it comes out of taxpayer money.
yes,
Now, the thing that's great about that medical system, and there's a lot of great things about it, it's great if you're in an acute state, if you are in a medical crisis. If you break your arm, go and see a doctor, right? Go to the hospital, to the emergency department. They will set it, they will fix it. You will get the care that you need from that. It is fantastic for that because Western medicine is basically derived from battlefield medicine. It is crisis. You've had a car accident, you've had a stroke, you've had a heart attack. That's brilliant. But the weaknesses, not the weaknesses, but the limitations of that system is because they deal with acute and they deal with crisis, their job is not to cure you. Their job is to take you to a point where you are stable. Now, that's a great bit of marketing because it's like, oh, you're stable, you can go home. What they don't tell you is that stable means chronic.
yeah,
The proper term for someone who is stable but not well is chronic.
yeah. And
And
chronic means long term.
yeah, if you've got something that's going beyond a few weeks, you are now chronic.
Yes. What a lot of people don't realize, they think chronic means bad, like it's really, really bad. Chronic actually means long term.
Yeah, it's just ongoing.
Yeah, it's just ongoing. It's what chronic means. And it's, yeah,
Yeah. So to understand chronic though, you've got to understand that there are medical systems that specialize in dealing with chronic. They're called alternative medicine. That's what they are. So if you're going to see a naturopath or a Chinese medicine specialist, or even having a massage, so what you are doing, or you're going, and particularly if you're going to deal with like energetic therapists, you're working through trauma, you're doing those things. What you're doing is that you're taking yourself through that process where you've been at a certain point, you've crashed in an acute state, you now are in a chronic state. And as you increase your capacity, what you do is you start to lift. Now, one of the key things about it, so if you're wondering about, because this happens all the time, it's often cited as why people think natural therapies are dangerous. And it's not that natural therapies are dangerous, but anything misused is dangerous.
yeah,
Anything that's been done by stupidity is
yeah,
dangerous, right? So the thing that's really important about it is you need to be discerning in the people that you work with. Just because somebody believes that they have the ability to do it, and that's not just natural therapists are terrible for this, but doctors are terrible for this. I can't tell you how many times that you go and see, I've had the experience of going to talk to medical specialists, and not just doctors, but high level medical specialists, and they don't know anything. You've got to go a long way up the food chain before you'll
yeah,
get somebody who is confident enough in the system to say, "Oh, we don't understand that at all." Right? And
yeah,
I remember having those experiences, and you get there and you go, "Oh, thank God!"
yeah.
Right?
I had the same experience when I was the whole MS thing. I was seeing a professor of neurology, and the last visit I had with him in the July, when he said, "Look, in 6 months, you'll probably be in a wheelchair." And I said, "When does it get better?" And he goes, "We don't know." And he
Yeah,
was the first doctor who goes, "We don't know. We basically don't know much about any of it." He goes,
yeah,
"All we know is we've got four different medications that kind of slow down the impact of you getting another event or getting worse." He goes, "Sometimes it works, sometimes it does." He goes, "We don't know. We don't even really know what MS is." And then that's when I went, well, why am I putting all my eggs in your basket?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's when I woke up and I was like, hang on a minute. And that's when I said that the question was like, what if I gave myself MS?
Mm.
Because MS to me was my body was just numb, like numb. I could walk, but I had to focus on it. Otherwise my feet would flop. Because you just have no feeling. It's the weirdest, it's so strange to explain it. And
Yeah,
but you have to really focus and it's really tiring. But I had been numbing myself out fucking like 20 years,
yeah,
probably longer, like longer. I just been numbing myself out. I numb myself out with drama, always the next thing, dopamine addiction, addictions, always on the go, people pleaser. I just numb myself out. And it's when I went, well, if my body's numb, whatever's been listening to what I wanted my whole life just to be numb. So
mm,
I'm like, if I've done this to myself, what if I can undo it? And this is my big thing that I say to everybody. It doesn't take one thing to fix a complex system.
yeah,
We are a complex system. And it's now this what makes me laugh. It's when I'm always sharing on Facebook, healings that I've been taken through or mentoring. I get mentored by Jason. I get mentored by people, and I've got kinesiology people, I've got energy healers all working for me, and I'm always promoting them. And people go, but Emma, there's nothing wrong with you. I go, there's always something wrong with me because I'm constantly upskilling.
yeah,
If I was egotistical enough to say, oh no, my job is done here, what am I, God? Even God's got problems. I mean, have you seen Earth? You know, it's like when you are working for a better version of yourself, I really feel the first place it needs to be dealt with is the vision.
absolutely.
I think this is so important. You have to hold and look at a vision of what you want. And I'm going to tell you that was really difficult for me because I was in such a low frequency and a low vibration of numb, dumbed out, medicated, depressed, anxious. I couldn't see me healthy.
Yeah.
So I did a trick. I really, really thought that, Jennifer Aniston, she's in Friends.
Mhm.
I always think she's about 2, 3 years older than me. She's just the epitome of health and beauty. She's just beautiful. She's vibrant. She looks great. So I actually had her as my vision because I couldn't put me in that vision yet. I wasn't in that frequency
Beginning.
yet.
Yeah. Yep.
So I used Jennifer Aniston as that's who I want to be. That's who it is. What does she do? I knew she was doing yoga. I knew she was eating well. She was doing that. She doesn't drink alcohol, things like that. And I'm like, okay. And then that's the first thing we got to do is get a vision. Because if we don't have the vision, we're just coasting. It's like saying to universe, can I have a good day today? Well, my version of a good day, Emma Romano's version of a good day is completely opposite of Jason Park's good day, right? Complete opposite. So universe is going, well, I'll give you a good day, but according to whom?
Yeah. That's right.
So this is where we want to really get visual. Just have fun, be in that playful mood and go a little crazy with your imagination of what you want. And when you think, oh, I can't have that, go nuts, double it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Double it.
don't hold back.
Don't hold back. Like double that. Just go, oh yeah, just say, oh, I just want to make, $1 million a year. Double it. Go
Mm.
2 million a year.
Yeah.
I want to be sexy. Double it. Be super sexy. I want to have a great partner. Double it. Be a really great partner, double it. Double the frequency, the idea. That's my advice. That's the very first thing that I feel we really need to do because then we are now in creation mode instead of fixing mode.
This is a really key point
Yes.
because um, just from a like a perspective about universal law and so forth, the way the body works, there's a fundamental law that it has, and there's a number of them, But one of the fundamentals is that it is a functional machine. It responds exactly to what you tell it to do. So if you tell it and it's a fitness machine, all it does is optimize your capacity to perform at the level of life that you want to perform at.
You guys need to pause that, rewind that of 10 seconds and listen to that again.
Yeah. And I'll repeat it anyway.
Yeah, repeat it
So
again.
all it does is optimize your ability to live life at the level at which you're choosing. So if you decide that all you want from life is sit on the couch, eat chips, watch Netflix, it will optimize. It will pack the weight on. It will lose the muscle tone. It will numb down your ability to feel joy, to feel motivation. It will depress you somewhat because it needs to hold you in a state where that makes sense. And the only way it makes sense that you are spending huge amount of hours eating chips on the couch watching Netflix is that, well, you got to be really depressed to do that. You've got to be numbed out. You've got to
Yeah.
be uninspired. So it has to change. On every cell, you have these receptors for various hormones, which is how we have an emotional state. So it will literally change how many hormone receptors you have for
Mhm.
depression hormones versus happiness and motivation hormones.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit of time because the cells have to replicate in order to change them every time. So it has to go through life cycles. If you want to be healthier than you've ever been, then you have to let go of the idea that health is restoring me back to how I was.
Yes, this is so important.
Yeah. You
This is
got to go
so
forward.
important. This is not just with health, this is everything.
Yeah. Everything that
Everything.
we create. Yeah.
Everything. Like if you sit there and go and you're in a relationship, you say, I just want us to be back to where we were. No, you don't, because that's the people that got you in the shit in the first place.
That's why you're here.
Right?
Yes,
You
exactly
never want
right.
to go back. You want to create something completely natural, organic, exciting, and more amazing than you can even freaking think possible.
Yeah. But you're going to build it out of the same material.
Yeah.
So you just take the bits that you like, very deliberately choose the bits that you want.
Mm.
And then, as you say, double down. So you get it and then you expand those things. If you liked a certain thing about you, you liked your determination, you liked your joyfulness, then you've got to take that forward. You have to find out how to be more sophisticated in what you do, how to be more sophisticated in your joyfulness and your determination,
I'm going to
not
give an
push harder.
example. Can I give an
Yeah,
example of this, right?
please.
Because I work a lot with people with addictions, because addictions are actually a coping mechanism to trauma and shame,
Yeah,
right? So when somebody says to me, I drink all day, blah, 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 whatever night, I go, this is really good news. And they go, what do you mean? I go, you got the consistency. You're very good at consistency. I said, that's what builds a really great life is consistency. And if you want to build anything, you want to build health, wealth, a business, a relationship, consistency. You have to be consistent at it. You can't
definitely.
just do it once and go, oh, it didn't work. You have to be consistent at it. And they say, I go, you've already got the consistency down pat. We just need to swap it from drinking to health.
Yeah,
I said, but it's a natural part of you. You've already got it. That's really great. And like addiction, people with addictions, I go, oh, this is really good. And they go, what do you mean? You're really committed. You're so committed to drinking every day or sitting on Netflix, watching Netflix every day. Your commitment part is on point. We just got to switch the commitment from Netflix or drinking to health or love or wealth, whatever it might be. And I said, but a lot of people find consistency really hard. You've already nailed it.
yeah,
That's
that's
why
right.
I know I'm really good at consistency
Yeah,
because I consistently drank for literally 12 years every night.
yeah,
I know I never doubt myself in consistency. Once I change my mind, I have a vision, I change my mind, and then I go, right. And I'm just consistent at it.
yeah. People don't realize that fact that the same rules that you use in order to be stunningly successful in whether it's finances, relationships, health, whatever it is, they're exactly the same rules. that people are using to be stunningly unsuccessful.
Yes.
It's two of them.
Yeah.
Consistency is the first one. Compounding is the second, which is using a principle that works.
It
So I remember working with a guy who drank himself to death. It was not in this work, it was in a different work.
was
But
There's a 5-star review.
there it is. Put that on Yelp. Right. So but this guy, I mean, it was terrible. It was sad. It was a lot of things. But you know what else? It was bloody consistency and compounding. This guy got himself a system to destroy himself, and he worked it. He worked it like a
He was an
hungry
expert at it.
entrepreneur, right?
He was so good at it. He killed himself with it.
He did.
That's how good he was. Yeah.
Yeah. He was so committed to that because it was better to do that than to accept that he's made bad life choices.
Yeah. And it's commitment too. It's like my personal story. I know why I numb myself out. I had this stupid idea and it was dumb but my God, I was so invested in this idea that if I had time to think, I would start feeling. And if I had time to feel, I would be a mess on the ground and no one would be there to pick me up.
Yeah.
And what a crock of shit.
Hmm.
Like, that's a crock of shit because I'm surrounded. I have got the most amazing husband, always have. He's always picked me up. But it was just this narrative. This is just a story I had in my head that it was just, I invested so much in this stupid bloody story. And then when I changed my story, I put the same amount of investment that I had in that story into a different story. And that is the reason of my success.
Yeah.
It's just,
And
what's your story? How invested are you?
yeah, that's the compounding principle.
Exactly. And it's back to no skills, no pills. If I'm sitting there taking pills, what story am I telling myself? I'm telling myself I can't do it.
Yeah.
The pill
It-
can do it. I can't do it. And the problem is when you don't see a difference with the pills, and then you start having other problems with the pills, like I ended up with a heart problem and all this other shit and fatigue and suicidal thought. I had fatigue, the whole lot. You go, oh, now I'm really broken. So
mm.
now I'm just in the broken story.
Yeah, yeah,
And you're taking a tablet twice a day to compound that. Like, there's my action. I'm compounding that I am broken. It's
yeah.
crazy. Like, I think back to it and I go, no wonder I was so ill. No
Mm.
wonder I was so ill and just getting worse and worse and worse. You just got to change the freaking narrative, change the story. Like, if you're sitting here listening now going, oh, what stories have I got? Thousands of them, probably. Some
Yeah,
are working, some are not. It's a work in progress. I still find stories and I go, oh, that's just a story. There's this great woman I worked with and I did body work with her, and her name is Laura Cooper. And she's incredible. And she did a body massage on me once. And it's not like a normal massage. I went to her place in Perth. I flew to Perth to see her. I was in a really bad way. It was about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. And she would poke a part of my body and I would go, holy shit. Like I'd be screaming. She goes, give it sound. It's just a story. What's the story? And I would just out of the blue yell shit like guilt. She goes, yeah, just a story. And the next thing it would just go. And then literally, she'd be pushing it with a finger and I'd be going through the roof. Then she would get like an elbow or a knuckle and she'd be digging in after I've let go of the, so nothing.
yeah,
It's just a story. And the body holds the record of all our stories.
yeah,
And the body is here to show us what we need to fuck off,
yeah,
basically. Right?
yeah,
Whereas we go, oh, you've got a pain. I'm going to numb you out, body. Instead of saying, hey, dude, what do you got to show me? Thank you. This is great. What stories am I releasing today? We go, oh, we just got to medicate that.
yeah,
Let's medicate it. Let's dumb it down. Go for the medication, but also do the skill work.
yeah. It is part
Marry it up.
of, yeah, things like medication, even surgery, are part of a bigger picture of health.
Yes.
And a big part of that story that you're talking about is remembering that in order to create that narrative, what we have to do is we have to make it into a heroic tale.
Yes.
that we're the hero of the story. This is where
Yes.
we started. We were going all right, and then life went to shit. And then this is how we got it together. This is how we took it forward to
Yeah.
ultimately get to the success.
Mm.
That we have to turn that around because the body is responding. I mean, your body, your relationships, your finances, your everything, it's responding to the picture that you're holding about yourself.
Yeah.
And that picture, people get into this idea that I have to hold a perfect vision of health. Well, as Emma's been saying, in the beginning, you can't because you don't know what that looks like.
Exactly.
So just aim as far as you can aim and start to bring it up. This is the day that, I mean, I technically have a thing called transgeminal neuralgia, which is how do I call it stabby face, right?
What?
Because it's what it is, it's like an inflammation of the nerves in your head. And what it does is I won't talk a great deal about it because it activates it, right? It is a non-event to me. I don't experience it at all unless I talk about it a lot. And then what happens is I start to feel it turn back on again,
Mhm.
right? Because it's one of those things that people call incurable. Now, its nickname is suicide headaches because that's how people treat it. It's so bad, they kill themselves.
Mhm.
And what it feels like is getting stabbed in the face right through here to the center of your brain, for me, every 7 seconds. And it'll wake you up. It's an amazing thing. But I remember when it was at its worst. And when it was at its worst, and I was at home, I was looking after two young kids, and I was in a car park, and I had to go somewhere, and this thing was just stabbing me in the face continuously, and it was horrendous because it wasn't like ow, it was like screaming pain. So
Wow.
my poor young kids were wondering what the hell's going on with dad.
Yeah.
And anyway, we got to this point where I was sitting in a car park and I didn't know what to do because I was on a heap of painkillers and I'd accidentally been taking double the amount that you're supposed to take.
Oh,
And they stopped working. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Like, what's your next thing? You take like horse tranquilizers. Is that what they're going to
yeah.
put me on where you
Ketamine.
just dribble,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. And I looked up and there was a McDonald's there. And when I grew up, and there's a thing about this condition, they treat it with oxygen.
Okay.
And when I went into emergency with it, they put me on some oxygen and it dropped it down, like a big percentage drop,
Okay.
maybe 40%. And I looked at this McDonald's, and the inspiration that hit me was I grew up on a farm, and my family also had a trout farm. And there's a thing about water temperature. The lower the water temperature, the more oxygen that the water holds, accessible oxygen,
Mhm.
or at least that's the way in which fish interact with it. So if they're in cold water, so they do a lot better than if the water gets warmer. And they'll often die in the warmer water. And I looked at this McDonald's and I went, right. And I walked across there and I got myself a thick shake and I got a straw, stuck it right up in the under my cheek as much as I could, and I sucked it up like stucco, as much
Yeah.
ice cream up there as I could. And the pain stopped for about 30 seconds. And I was like, I got you, you bastard. If I can stop you, because technically it shouldn't stop. So it's like, okay, if you can stop for 30 seconds, you can stop. So after I did that, I sat with it and I just kept sucking that thick shake up. And as it was happening, I was like, what is this telling me? And it was telling me, it's like, wait a minute, I'm on anti-inflammatories and I'm on heavy duty painkillers. Maybe the problem is that the anti-inflammatories are holding at a level that the body can't deal with.
Mm.
Therefore, it's chronic. So I stopped taking them. That night, I went to sleep as much as I could. I fell asleep exhausted at one point. And then I woke up and my bed was soaking wet. I'd had this massive, massive fever. I had to get up and take all
Crazy.
the sheets off, the blankets
Yeah.
and everything and wash them, right? But it was gone.
Oh, I love that.
And it was like, okay, I had kept myself in a range. And, but from that, it was making that decision that it was like, this is bullshit. This is all or nothing bullshit.
That's
So
exactly.
you
That's
got to
right.
get, Yeah,
That's where I was at. Yeah, we've both been there.
you've got to want to live and really live more than you want to exist and get by.
100%.
Yeah. So that was it. I was not going to make my legacy for my daughters this.
Yeah.
So that was it.
I'm so
And then,
glad. I'm so glad that you did that because I mean, look where you're at today.
oh yeah, completely different life,
If you'd have stayed on, you probably would have died.
one way or another. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
wouldn't be the Jason Parks you are today, like freaking
No, well,
amazing.
I probably would be dead.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
probably
Or a
even just from
vegetable, like dribbling.
exhaustion. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably exhaustion would have killed me. So, yeah, undeniable. So it's an amazing thing. Like your body is functional. It's just trying to build the version of you that you're telling it that it needs to be.
yeah, exactly.
So that's your
Exactly.
foundation for
There's
this,
also a trick to this. Can I tell everybody the trick?
at least.
The unconscious mind does not process a negative. And what I mean by this, the words don't, can't, won't, not,
Yeah,
stop,
yeah, yeah,
can't process it. So if I say, I don't want to be fat, take out the don't. It
yeah,
says, I want to be fat. So you can't sit there and go, I just don't want to be fat anymore. I don't want to be sick anymore. You're actually saying, I want to be sick. I want to be fat. I want to be. So you got to say what you want, not what you want or what you don't want. We have to let go of what we don't want and never talk about it. We can
yeah,
only talk about what we want. So I want health. I want wealth, or, I am health. I am wealth. If we especially speak it in the I already have it,
yes.
it will manifest quicker than if you say I want it, because want means I don't have it, and we'll
It's
only
separate.
yeah, we only vibrate and receive at what we're vibrating at. So
Yeah, exactly right.
if I'm sitting here going, I really want health, it means I don't have health, so I'll have more health problems because I'm vibrating at that. But
Yeah.
if I sit here and say I am healthy, so I had a session with a woman who's been on 3 lots of antibiotics. She's got this terrible chest throat infection. She can't shift it. It's been 5, 6 weeks now. And I said to her, I'm going to ask you a question. How are you feeling? Because I feel terrible. I said, so therefore you will.
Yeah.
All right. Today is the last day that you say this. We did a session on her. I did a healing session on her. So that was Friday. And then talked to her yesterday. She goes, Emma, it's gone.
Hmm.
And I went, don't mention it. Don't invite it back. It's just a story.
Yeah.
I said, you just kept reading the same book.
Yeah. That's right.
Stop reading the same book. Put that book down, throw it in the fire. Open up a new book and start writing in new chapters.
Yeah.
Invest in that book. You only talk about that book. So even if you're not feeling well and someone go, how are you feeling? Just go, I'm healing. I'm healing. Yeah, I'm healing. I'm in a healing zone. Never say I'm sick or I feel this or I feel I'm healing. These little tricks of the trade are pivotal to your success, and you are welcome, guys.
Yeah. We're told really, and we agree with it because it's not like we're told by the systems that we are on a level. But the fact is, we're told by everybody else who thinks they know how it works. You don't learn how to, you don't learn how to be wealthy talking to poor people. You don't learn how to be healthy
Yeah.
talking to sick people.
That's right. That's
And
exactly right. Jason and I were just having this conversation about crypto
yeah,
before we started. And I've been burnt by these blockchain things. And I refuse to go on anything like that that's connected to an MLM, because people are saying, I'm earning lots of money. I'm like, you're earning lots of money by selling the MLM. You're not earning lots of money
yeah,
from the Bitcoin or the crypto. And it's just interesting because I fell for that. And it's true. And I said to Jason, I said, if a really wealthy person comes up to me who's not in an MLM about it and has made a fortune on it, I would listen to them.
yeah,
But so far, anyone who's talking to me about crypto are kind of desperate for money. And I
mm.
won't get advice about money from people who are desperate for money.
Yeah, it does not work.
No,
Well, that's
and
not true.
which I
It
did.
does work. It works predictably,
Yes, which I
right?
did, and it didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't
Yeah,
work.
it'll take you into that same situation.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
I suppose if we can leave you with anything today, if you want to make a movement, if you feel you might be dealing with significant illness or physical condition, or you might be just feel shit all the time.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, the foundation of health is really thinking it out, deliberately choosing what you want it to be. Get that picture in your head about what it looks like. Not that it has to be super radiant or anything like that. It's just simply, for me, when I went through it, it was really, I just want to get to a point where that pain stops. And when that pain stopped, my first thought after, oh my God, the pain stopped, was what else needs to go? I am never going back.
No.
I am never going back to that. So I have to keep going forward and build that picture for yourself, whatever that is, to go forward. Don't punish yourself over it. Just build something that inspires you to have a bigger reality than what you're existing in now, because that in itself is the foundation of health.
Love it. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We absolutely love doing these podcasts. Please catch us on our website, solidlineresults.com. You can email us and get in contact with us. Let us know how you're feeling. If you want to work with Jason and I, let us know. We do have a retreat coming up. Well, our next one is next year. We've got one this year.
Early next year, yeah.
Yeah, it's booked out the next one. We book out our retreats very quickly, but we will put in a date for our one for next year, probably February, I'm guessing. Usually.
Around then.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much. Thanks, Jason. We'll see you next podcast.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.